Hi, good evening, everybody. Thanks for tuning in again. I welcome you all for the online roadshow meet of Apex Ecotech Limited. So, this is Shabina, your host for today's virtual event. Before I dive into details, a quick intro about Apex Ecotech Limited. Apex Ecotech Limited, an ISO 9001:2015 certified company, which offers innovative turnkey solutions for water and wastewater treatment, membrane recycling, evaporators, and zero liquid discharge system. With a focus on sustainability, energy efficiency, and low carbon footprints, the company addresses global water scarcity through advanced recycling and conservation practices. I have a great lineup for you today, featuring from the company's presentation from Apex Ecotech Limited team, which dwells insight into the company's vision, strategy, and growth prospects, ending with the question and answer session. Now, it's my pleasure to introduce our keynote speaker, Mr. Anuj, Chairman cum Managing Director of Apex Ecotech Limited. Welcome, sir.
Good evening, everybody.
Along,
Can you hear me?
yes, we can hear you,
Yeah.
sir. Along
So I
with him,
want,
I have
yeah,
Mr. Anuj Singhal, analyst, Share India Capital Services Private Limited.
Good evening, everyone.
Warmest welcome, gentlemen.
Thank you, ma'am.
Please note that you can submit your question and answer anytime in the chat box, and we will address them during the question and answer session. With that introduction, let's get started. Our first speaker will be Mr. Anuj, whose presence promises an informative and engaging discussion, and he will share an overview of the company's presentation too. Over to Mr. Anuj.
at the outset, I wish to thank every one of you for sparing your invaluable time and joining us and showing interest in our presentation. So I'll immediately dive into the company profile and overview. Basically, the company Apex Ecotech Limited is into water and wastewater treatment. We are into then membrane recycling. We provide evaporators and crystallizers so that it becomes a zero liquid discharge system. The water is then reused for myriad applications in the industry. So typically, we want to explain that we have divided, or per se, the water is divided into three sectors. One is the household sector, where you generally have the aqua guards and the smaller RO plants, or the smaller treatment plants, sewage treatment plants for societies. And on the other end, you have the infrastructure where you have municipal plants, the higher size plants, where you have more number of civil works associated with because it has to cater to a very high quantum of wastewater or water. We are more focused in between. We are doing the work typically with all the industrial industries, and we have been doing this for quite some time. So we can go to the next slide. So in the last, we started this company in 2009. In the last 15 odd years, we have done almost 150, work with 150 odd clients and done close to 300 projects. We have a team of over 100 people. And presently we have an order book of 119 crores, out of which some of has already been invoiced. And this is the general numbers which we are increasing on a daily basis with respect to quantum of water which we treat on a daily basis. And we are now serving with approximately 14 industries like we have divided into sectors as a standard norm: FMCG, beverages, mining, steel, you have the automobile sector, pharma, all these sectors. So we are catering to 14 odd sectors as of now. Next, please. A brief about us, how we started this company. I am Anuj Dosaj. I am the chairman cum managing director. I'm a chemical engineer and have 36 years of experience in this field. Then we have Mr. Ramakrishnan Balasandran Iyer, who's the executive director. He is basically the mind behind, or the brain behind the company. He is the one who in, uh, involves and innovates a lot of technologies for us, and he is into proposal and design. Then we have a very dynamic Mr. Ajay Raina, who looks after all the sales and all technical marketing for the company in India and abroad. Our fourth promoter, we were four promoters when we started this company, Mr. L.M. Datta, who is now retired, and he was looking after the after sales activities. Then we have a very experienced Mr. Rakesh Kaul, who is our CFO, and Kirti Jain, who is our compliance officer. So this is the core team. Followed by this, I would like to add that we have a very strong second line of people who are working with us for quite a number of years, all experienced and very well versed in their subject. Next, please. So this is generally the journey which we undertook in 2009. We incorporated this company, and then in 2012 we did our first zero liquid discharge plant in pharma sector, followed by in 2015 in the automobile sector. In 2016, Ramachandran, actually known as simpler name as Ramesh, so he came up with the electrocoagulation system. Though this system has been prevalent for eons of years, but then he worked out a special way of working on low sacrificial electrodes. And we have been using this technology for some specific requirements. Then in 2017, we did our first mill scale filtration plant outside India. 18, we got the first 100 million or a 10 crore job. And 19, we were awarded the MBR Champions Award by Suez, which is a French company. In 2020, we implemented EDR technology for wastewater, which is one of the prime ways of proceeding with innovation. And this was also a case study which was brought up on a global basis. In 2023, we brought in MVR, like other technologies. That is, earlier we were, or the world was doing thermal, so we also were doing thermal. And then we did our first plant on MVR. And in 2024, we were awarded the Global Ecological Transformation Award earlier this year in China by Veolia Water. Veolia is the largest company, or the only company which is a Fortune 500 water treatment company. So Veolia took over Suez a couple of months back, and now is having some tremendous amount of technologies and products which can be used for a lot of applications. This is in general, and now the next milestone is that we are getting or entering into the public domain. So we look forward to how we fare well in that. Please, next, please. If we talk about our business segment, our big business segment is divided into the water treatment plants. When we say water treatment plants, means there is an initial source of water which could be borewell water, or it could be any municipal water, lake, dam, reservoir, anything which needs to be treated for manufacturing purposes. And these are treated for in different applications for different industry, whether it is a food industry or a pharma or beverages or automobile or any industry. I mean, they would treat this water for their own requirements. And then this water or the processes will then generate two kinds of effluents. One is the sewage effluent, which is generally the human excreta, or the kitchen waste, which is all added together and needs to be treated separately. And we have the industrial effluent from the processes. So zero liquid discharge is actually that, typically meaning that you cannot dispose any water outside the premises, and you have to use this water within for all your applications. And you also cannot discharge water unless you treat it. So it is not that you generate effluent and then you don't throw it out, means it's a zero liquid discharge plant. So zero liquid discharge or ZLD would typically mean that you have to reuse this water, where your intake of the raw water will reduce. Next, please. Next slide, please. Yeah. So we are like sewage treatment plant was one part. The other part is the wastewater treatment plant, which is also known as the effluent treatment plants. And we have myriad technologies which we are using for treatment of these systems. Then once this system, nowadays we have to actually reuse the water through membrane recycle systems or the advanced EDR systems. So these RO plants, as you are aware, you have generally at your residence, you have small RO plants. Here, the size of the RO plants are far bigger. It can handle more quantities of water. It can handle more difficult water. So post the treatment scheme, the water needs to get preconditioned so that it can be entered or passed through the membrane systems for water reuse. Now, the balanced water which is coming as a reject is something like, जैसे आपका खारा पानी होता है, it's like a sea water, and that needs to be, as in school we had studied, it's a distillation process. Here it is working under vacuum so that the energy requirements are minimum, and therefore all the water as high as up to 98% you can retrieve the water and use for your applications. Then as an add-on you have other systems like, you have the sludge dewatering systems and sludge drying systems. And then finally at the end of the day you have to energize the plant or operate the plant through electrical panels and through automation systems. So we provide both remote sensing and monitoring systems along with this. Next, please. So this is generally the product-wise revenue breakup. I wanted to add before I start speaking about this is that India incidentally enjoys only 3 to 4% of good potable water vis-a-vis the whole world or globally, whereas our population is almost 18% of the global population. So you can very well see that the numbers are quite skewed, and therefore per capita of water available for a person is extremely low with respect to some other countries. So therefore, water becomes an extremely important and a valuable commodity or a natural element in the country. So that awareness and that understanding is extremely important. So this is one of the points. It is even till date, after so much of push from the government, the NGT, and the judiciary system, we have almost billions of liters of water which are still being untreated and being thrown into the rivers or otherwise. So it's a matter of time when people used to mention or state that the third world war is going to happen because of the waters, that threat looms large. So just wanted to explain. If you will see year on year, the water treatment plant, we have focused on wastewater treatment and its recycle. So the total ZLD system. Per se, even the government now is cutting down the supply of the water treatment so that people can reuse the water which is from the effluents which they are generating. So slowly and gradually, the intake of the water from the ground or the other resource will reduce, and industry specifically will be asked or has been pushed into using water from their recycle systems. We also provide services and O&M for our plants and after sales services, and also we provide chemicals and spares for the proper operation or the continuous operation of the system. Next, please. So these are some of the clientele, the prestigious clientele which we have listed. Our claim to fame is that we have received number of orders on a regular basis as a repeat customer. These systems are generally, they are not to be installed on a daily basis or a monthly basis. So it's a high capex and opex oriented project, and it is more of a compliance issue. However, this compliance is now slowly becoming into a source issue. That is, the earlier people had to install this plant because it was being pushed by the government. But now, because of the lack of water itself in some of the areas, especially when it is, there are no monsoons or these intakes are reducing, the water levels are going down. So when they are reusing this water, therefore it becomes of extreme importance that the system which is being implemented is of high standards and is reliable, robust, and performing. So Aditya Birla Group, we have been working with Hindalco, and this is we are now commencing or we are about to finish the fourth project with them. We have anoils. The idea is to show the diversity of systems that we are doing. Anoil is a edible oil system. They generate or they manufacture edible oil. Ecotech is the largest Canadian company which is into pharma. Then we have Ashok Leyland. It's a British company, we all know. Bhartiyam are the bottlers for Campa Cola. Of Campa Cola, that is Reliance is taken over. Bunge is one of the leading companies which are into edible oil. We have just received the order from them. You have Daikin, Deccan, Denso. Designco is into artifacts and based at Moradabad, and they are exporting most of their products to US. Then Delecta is the ice cream manufacturer. We have Gokul, who's also into edible oil. Mahindra's, Honda cars, Honda scooters, Kubota. They're all Hero, they are all into automobiles. Heikel is into chemicals. Hindustan and Unilever are food industries. MG Motors, I mean PepsiCo. So Reckitt and Benckiser and Pyramid, all these companies, SKF, are top-notch companies, and there is a reason why we have been able to do this. In short, I will give you a brief about how it all started. When we started this company, we were more focused on automobile industry for a specific reason. It was by design that we wanted to work with the automobile sector because it was dominated, or it has been dominated, by Japanese, Koreans, and Americans. So their understanding to the zero liquid discharge and treatment systems is far, far advanced and higher than the technologies available in India. So when we worked with them, we learned a lot from these companies, how to implement and how to use technologies. They also gave us some ideas of how to go about or what they are using in their country, for this. And also they had this system of ensuring that the plants which are installed also work as per commitment. So it is not like that because I am sorry to mention that quite a few plants or quite a few areas are where the plants do not work. So they are more managed than treated. So water in India is also being managed. Now things are changing because there is a strong, like I said, the judiciary and the NGTs, which are after, they're like hawks after the industry. So we learned with them, and post COVID, prior to COVID, we were entrenched into these companies. However, during COVID, we understood that all these companies were actually, they slowed down because the supply chains became extremely slow and not responding. So we took a backlash over there, and then we decided and did some introspection, and we said we will move into different industries. So in the last 4 5 years, we have been into all sectors, and we intend to make forays now into pulp and paper and into cement industry also. So we are now actually catering to most of the industry which is there in India or abroad for that matter. We are doing some plants in outside India also. Next, please. So these are few of the points which we try to elaborate and mention that why we should be, what is our USP. I actually forgot to mention earlier the three of us are ex Thermax. We have worked in Thermax, which is one of the leading companies for different uh, engineering products and systems. And one of us, that is Ajay, is from Pentair. So we had the experience to work as into this field as engineers for Thermax, and thereafter we started on our own. So we have a combined experience of more than 100 years, and which has helped us in taking this. All the directors are involved on a daily basis into the work. We are very, very meticulous in our design, which is the heart of the system, and we are aware of all kind of utilities because zero liquid discharge actually is a high tech system. We are also talking to a lot of companies abroad to bring in high tech technology into India, but all our challenge is to bring down the pricing which suits the price conscious Indian market. Then we have an in-house team of design, and we all these systems, as they are customized, it needs high level of understanding. We have developed strong partnerships and with our both OEMs and with our that is OEMs vendors and with our clients. And that is because these few things we learned from the Japanese companies, that don't fix what is not broken, be loyal to people, and that is what we have followed. And we have a very streamlined framework of integrating in-house and outsourced systems across the functions. So that is some of the areas where we feel that we enjoy a strong position to design and execute the turnkey project in a specific manner, on time deliverance and on time commitments. Next, please. So these are the financials. If you would observe that from 2022, there has been a regular growth in our approach and our numbers. Our EBITDA has also increased proportionally, and so has our PAT. Generally, I also want to mention that the first half, that is the H1, is approximately 30% of the total revenue. This is because the numbers, this is these numbers are primarily pre-COVID. I mean, sorry, post-COVID, and therefore at the time of COVID, that is just after COVID, the industry was reluctant in setting up newer projects. They were a little skeptical about investing money, so therefore the growth was slow. However, we expect that in future the numbers in H1 will also improve dramatically. Next, please. So these are standard ROE, ROCE, and debt to equity. If you would observe, our debt is minimal. We are almost a debt-free company, and whatever little debt we have is more on vehicular debt and things like that. Next, please. So these are the current ratios and earnings, EPS, and asset value. I think you would understand this as good as anybody. Next, please. So these are some of the points again, the rationale why you should why we are the right company to be to catch your interest and you look forward to your investment. We are a company which is majorly into technology. We also believe in strong systems within the company, and we intend to build a lean and we want to be aggressive but still prudent. So we have a lot of things with our understanding and experience, and we feel that we can do very well in times to come. Next, please. So this is, I think, where Mr. Singhal can take over, and he will be in a better position to explain for shareholders.
Thank you so much, sir. Good evening, everyone. I hope you are doing well. My name is Anu Singhal. I represent Share India, the lead manager to the issue. Today, I'm here to walk you through the structure of the Apex Ecotech SME IPO that is set to open soon. So the issue comprises only fresh equity shares with a total number of 34 lakh 99,200 shares being offered. And the price band is set between 71 to 73 per share, and the lot size is 1600 shares. So the out of out of the fresh issue, 2 lakh equity shares is reserved for the market maker, and 9 lakh 88,800 shares are reserved for QIB anchors, and 6 lakhs 59,200 shares for the QIB, and 4 lakh 96,000 shares for the non-institutional investors, and 11 lakh 52,200 shares for the retail investors. And the issue begins with the anchor bidding, which will open tomorrow, 26th of November. And following that, the issue will be open to the public on the 27th of the November and close on 29th of November. And the next slide. Next slide, ma'am. And the pre-issue holding of promoter and promoter group is 94.32, which will be post-issue will be 69.29%, and post-issue implied working capital at upper price band will be 96.25 crores. Next slide, ma'am. And the object of issue is the working capital, which amounts to 17 crore, and the remaining amount for the general corporate expenses and the issue related expenses. Next slide. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for your attention.
Thanks,
Over.
Mr. Anuj, for that insightful presentation, and thank you, Mr. Singhal, for that sharing your valuable perspective about the IPO. Now it's time to get interactive. I would invite all past participants to post their questions in the chat box, and our speaker is ready to respond. So let's go one by one. The first question is from Ms. Chaitali. Good explanation, sir. Next is Vidya. Nice presentation by Anuj, sir. Thank you, Vidya.
Thank you very much.
It's Vidya again. What plans do you have for advancing technologies like EDR, MBR, and MVR?
We are very excited because there's a huge potential in the market for all these technologies. One thing I would also like to state is that we are very diligent in choosing technologies. We have been to different parts of the globe, and we are working with some of the best companies, EDR and MBR and MVR. So wherever we choose these, we ensure that these are commercially and technically established technologies. So therefore, we only maybe 6 7 months back we went for a containerized MVR, and it has been well received, and we have received 4 orders for that. So I mean, there are many more technologies. Incidentally, water there are technologies which are coming up on a very regular basis, but one has to be prudent that what they have to be brought in India very carefully, so that the customer who has interested you into this gets its due, and the systems perform very well and robustly. So we are very keen to bring in technology so that it has lower opex, and the prices also, we are talking to some companies how to lower down the prices.
Next, please. Mr. Neeraj. Good presentation, clear and impactful. Thank you, Mr. Neeraj. So Neeraj again. How does Apex differentiate itself from competitors like Eon, Exchange, Thermax, and Toshiba Water Solutions?
uh, Neeraj, I have been asked this question quite a few times, so probably I have uh, I have a way of explaining this. See, what happens is, you water is not taught anywhere as such. These are all great companies. We have a lot of respect for these companies. But then water and wastewater treatment, you don't have a subject like that. So it comes from your own experience and learning. And all these companies are diversified into different gambit of products, and they are into, some of them are into household, they are into different segments, they are also into larger plants. So they are not as focused as we are. That is the primary reason that we all get involved. The second thing is, this is our 100%. I mean, we are totally into industrial wastewater treatment, water and wastewater treatment. And the other thing is that we are also in connect with some of the largest organizations globally, which I feel at times, if you are very big, you may not like to have that kind of understanding or partnership with one giant with the other giant. So we have enjoyed this, and our decision making is extremely fast. There is no red tapeism in our company. It's a very open plateau organization where everybody heeds to the comments of the other person. So I feel that we there is no inertia in the company. Balance everything else. Our operating costs are lower because all these companies they work with big. I mean, their expenses on operating expenses are high because their admin cost is pretty high. And so therefore, I think these are some of the major advantages we have over these companies. And sometimes, we have been ready to take off for quite some time. It's all that we feel that all the things are coming in place, and we are here to jet set in the times to come.
Next, please. Ms. Deepika. With the current debt to equity ratio at 0.03, how do you plan to leverage this position for future expansion?
See, as a principle or as a mindset, we don't we strongly believe in having lean organization and backed by systems. So, I mean, we are working on certain in-house structured systems which have an element of AI into it. So we do not intend to get too much money from outside, and we want to, negotiate better. So we intend the numbers may not remain the same as we grow because it is a capital intensive industry, but then it will always remain very much in control. Probably that we have learned over our past experience, because our 15 years has not come easy. We have learned the hard way with our own set of grinds, ups and downs. So we'll definitely like to maintain lower level of debt equity ratio.
Next, Mr. J. Despite significant growth, what led to fluctuations in EBITDA and PAT margins across FY22 and FY24?
Yeah, if I understand fluctuations, I would understand is on it's a growth path. I don't feel that we have made downtrends. The only thing probably in the end of, or that is the H1 of 24-25, it's a misnomer. There is no dip as such. If you go into the past history of our systems, this has been the trend that generally people want, or we also want, that in the financial year end, you tend to invoice as much as possible. So there's a lull in the first half of the year, and then again, it picks up in the second half. So we are very much in line with the, if you see by the end of the year, we will be very much in line with the growth percentages per se for whatever we have achieved earlier. I hope I am able to answer your question, please.
Mr. Kabe, are there plans to increase capacity or introduce new services to capture more market share?
See, I think the market is there to be taken. There is so much opportunity in the market. And as I mentioned earlier, there are billions of liters of water which is being untreated and wasted. It is not only sewage, it is the industrial. And if you see, there's a spurt of industrial sector which is coming up where there are no drainage facilities. So the industrials have to manage and treat and manage everything water within their own premises. They have to have online systems so that the pollution control board knows what is happening. And nowadays what generally is a practice is that they are asked to install a zero liquid discharge system, and the supply of the raw water or the main source is also cut down so that they have no choice but to the system to perform. So we feel that there is extremely very high opportunity in the next decade itself, and therefore we want to increase our market share definitely. We are also in talks with some of the leading companies for making non-core items in India so that we can reduce the pricing and provide to our customers a highly value-added technological system. So I think in time we will be working towards that very strongly, and also taking over some O&Ms. Uh, with time, because as the systems become more efficient, they need higher understanding and intelligence in terms of operating the system. So definitely these are some of the areas we'll be focusing on. But as of now, we don't intend to get into any household sector or the infrastructure sector. So we want to concentrate typically on the industrial sector itself, which again I said is a huge, huge opportunity by itself.
Next, Mr. Parth, how do you mitigate risk associated with large scale, high complexity projects like ZLD system?
See, Vermaji, I think the foremost, I would say, reason for mitigating the risk is that we ourselves are pretty well educated and we have a very strong understanding of the system. I mean, if me, Ramesh, and Ajay are put together, we can make a design or make a system by ourselves. So we actually feel we are confident enough to handle these systems, and we are extremely diligent. I'll give you a small example on this. Few years back, we took an order from an automobile giant where it was a order in multiple of crores, and incidentally we went to a highly developed country after that, wherein we were informed that this system will have problems after 3 years. So when we learned of this, or we were made aware of this, we came back and told the client that we will be investing 60 lakh rupees from our pocket so that you do not have a problem after 3 years. So that way, we are understanding, we are talking to technological partners who are already into this field and who have more than, see, they have lot many installations. So we are open to learning. We are extremely customer centric. We are very honest in our, work and the effort which we try to put in. I'm not saying ignorance is the reason, but ignorance could be a reason that at times we do not understand, but we don't feel shy to correct wherever we have gone wrong. So every ZLD plant which we did, maybe some 10 years back, we did the first plant. Every time we have improved with that, and we have brought in newer technologies. And it has been very well, I would say, appreciated and reciprocated by the esteemed and the prestigious clients.
Next, Mr. Ruturaj, are there any upcoming or pipeline projects companies planning?
I would, if I understand your question properly, is that are we intending to make further forays into something else? If that is the question, yes, like I said, we would be wanting to bring in technologies so that we make the non-core items in India and get only the core items so that it becomes more suitable for the Indian market. We are trying for some exclusive rights with some of the companies, but I'm not too sure whether that would be possible. But still, we are doing that. Anyway, we'll have a head start on certain technologies because we have a better understanding and openness to take these and implement with the clients. The other thing is, like I said, the O&M. The other flip side of your question, if it is that there are some projects in pipeline, yes, there we have a very high quantum of inquiries with us. Not only us, I feel that there is so much of abundance of work in India and so much to do. It is because of our references in the last decade or so that we have been able to, it talks about our efforts and our sincerity in the work. So I don't know if I'm able to put across my mind set properly for your question.
Ms. Nidhi, which sector contributes the most in revenue?
See, it's a very difficult question to answer because what is happening is India is slowly becoming a manufacturing hub. There is a lot of initiatives being taken by the government, and if you see, there is so much of population. So you have something like FMCG or beverages or pharma or textile, anything. I mean, they are here to stay. But yes, you are right that if something does go wrong, there could be some effect because of the supply chains. But then, since we are catering to most of the sector presently, if you see, we have the automobile EV sector is on a high, the chip sector is on a high. So, I mean, it keeps on, there are small waves ups and down. And lot many companies are coming up with lot many things. So, you have the white goods, you have everything. So, India has something. The best part about India is that there is so much to consume. So I don't think any sector per se is going to contribute more. It depends what we come across because we do not want to do too much work. We want to be aggressive, but still be very prudent in how we work and don't want to spread thin.
Ms. Shruti, have there been any significant delay or cost overruns in your turnkey projects?
As of now, none. Yes, there has been some little bit here or there, but nothing that has mattered. And because see, the client is also it's a joint effort. Our belief is that once we get the order, we are on the same side of the table with the client. So no, we have not encountered cost overruns, but yes, delays have happened at times due to delay in civil works, primarily because of the other side or the weather being a little inclement. Otherwise, no.
Mr. Anirban. Mr. Anuj, could you provide revenue growth projection targets for the company?
See, like I said, we'll be growing at the same pace this year at least. We have order book of 119, out of which by H1 we did around 22 CR. As on date, we are plus 35, and we should be crossing around 70. We will be ending up with something between 70 to 80 with a spillover of 40 to 50 for next year and another 5 months to go. So we have like November, December, January, Feb, March, where we have orders yet to be booked, which will be implemented fully or partially next year. So I mean the growth is definitely strong. We see a lot of growth in our company, and we intend to keep that pace whatever has been happening for the last 2 years.
Ms. Shayali, what are your long-term plans for addressing global water scarcity beyond India?
Well, sometimes it's a grim story as far as our country is involved in. You feel a little sad when you see water getting wasted and people not understanding, and some of the state governments not being serious about it. But see, it gives a little bit of a personal gratification when you are doing similar work because आपको पता है कि आप हर रोज कुछ ऐसा कर रहे हैं जो, if not directly or indirectly, it is doing something, something adding to the life process or the quality of life in times to come. So yes, we will be bringing in more technologies. We will be bringing in better systems. We will be bringing in cheaper systems. And when I say cheaper, I don't mean non-performing. I mean value added. Let me correct myself. Not cheaper, but value added systems. And I think that we will play a major role. And we are also gearing up our next generation to come into our business and do things for us with our understanding and their probably enthusiasm. We intend to be a major player in times to come.
Next, please. Mr. Sunny, what percentage of Apex revenue comes from international market versus domestic projects?
Soniji, as of now, not much because we are doing some projects in Africa, Vietnam, and Bangladesh, but maybe around 5 to 8%. I wouldn't know the exact percentages, but we intend to increase it. We want to focus more on technology and on systems, and we also don't want to work on standalone system like somebody comes and tells us कि आपको एक RO plant देना है. We will not be doing that. We are specialized integrators because we want to use our acumen, our skill sets, our understanding into doing better jobs and giving better output to our prospective clients.
Mr. Kaushal, how do you differentiate with the larger players technologically and enduring systems?
See, Gautavji, basically the part is larger players is also how you look at it. See, there must be some 1 lakh or 2 lakh players in this country of having of different levels. But if you observe, there is no player which is more than 3,000 crores in this field. So the opportunities are galore to take a part of this system. As far as differentiation is concerned, like I mentioned earlier, we have a very strong set of promoters and team, and also the second line. So part of the money which we'll get, the proceeds we'll get from the IPO is creating systems, implementing high-end technology into our systems, and working with the global technological leaders so that we are able to provide all the technologies which are well established and accepted globally. So there are a lot of times when the larger companies have this inertia to shift from X technology to a better technology because that is the mindset or that is what they have been playing out for a very long time. So that way, I think we are far more dynamic and far more open to or receptive to the things which are happening abroad. So we'll bring them into India at Indian price. That is our main aim. And yes, enduring system, like I said, definitely India is a long way to go because water treatment per se is evolved so much more in the advanced countries. We need to learn a lot from them. I hope I am able to answer what you're looking at.
Mr. J, with the pre-IPO public holdings of 5.68%, who are our public shareholders and what was the strategic reasoning behind this dilution before the IPO?
See, the idea was we wanted to get somebody on board who had an understanding into a similar line of business and who could, advise us into not only into the IPO per se, but also uh, the kind of work that they are doing. So they are invested into recycling of certain products, and therefore they understand the business. So that was very important that whoever joins us for a specific reason. We were not looking at only the proceeds. We were very much into the fact that there could be value addition from the set of people who would come. So with a lot of diligence and thought process, we brought in these people.
Mr. Shreya, what will be the primary use of the IPO proceeds besides working capital requirements?
See, like Singhal Sahab has mentioned earlier, like or my namesake Anuj has mentioned earlier, it will become easier for me to say that. But then part of the proceed will go into the cost of the IPO and the expenses. But largely everything will be used as a working capital because we are a debt-free company. Also, a part of it we want to use for talent acquisition and that is the primary reason. So we understand that we have to take this proceeds very seriously and use it very judicially to upscale our business.
Ms. Shreya again, with the 119 plus crores order book, what is the timeline for converting these into revenue?
Here, like I said, around 75 to 80% we'll be closing it this year itself. So we're targeting anything between 70 to 80 CR in this year. And there'll be a spillover. So that spillover would lead to around 40 to 50 CR from the 119 plus it's 119 approximately. And then whatever we get, because any order which we get, typically the gestation period for a ZLD plant is around 8 to 10 months, and for the standard WTP or the WTP is around 4 to 6 months. So anything that comes now from here on till March will only get implemented next year. So it depends. I mean, so the idea is to we definitely have a spillover, because that is the nature of the jobs which we have picked up, and that is the timelines that we have committed to the client also. So I hope 70 to 80 is what we are looking at, plus the spillover. Okay, so any order that comes, sorry, I
No
could read it,
issues.
so I'm
Yeah, yeah.
answering. So any order that comes, typically any order is we get an advance between 10 to 25% or 30%. So on an average, around 15% is the advance. See, all the companies which we are working are high-end companies, and most of them work on secured advances. That is, we have to give a bank guarantee for the advance. Then we get the payment on pro rata basis whenever we deliver the material, which is the period, like I've already mentioned, is 4 to 6 months for WTP, and WWTP for ZLD it is around 8 to 10 months. So the supply is within 6 months, and then there is a 2 months of implementation of the project and another 2 months of commissioning of the system. So we get the supply payment, say on an average between around in 60 to 70 days. Being an MSME company, the customer also ensures that we get the payment once they receive the material after the GRN within 45 days. So I feel that it is around 70 days for the working capital cycle.
Mr. Neeraj, do we currently have any contracts with government municipalities? If not, are we planning to pursue it?
Neeraji, we have been approached, and we have been given a lot of opportunities. But as of now, we are a little wary of it. And I think there's lots to do in the industrial sector. So probably not planning at as of now, maybe at a later date.
Next. Ms. Preeti, hello, good afternoon, sir. My question is, how do you ensure energy efficiency and low carbon footprint goals are met in your projects?
Preeti, there are two aspects to this. One is that we morally and ethically we also believe in it, but our clientele is so strong by itself. They are so advanced and well educated that they are already talking about I4 motors. They are already talking about carbon footprints, how to reduce them. They're talking about technologies which are C certified and which do not require a lot of space. So the thing is, it's a mutual kind of an understanding where the client itself is at a scale of being highly informative and demanding. So they are also, if you see our client list, they are also asking for this. Therefore, it is important and imperative for us to get into uh, technologies and technological partners and OEMs who make efficient systems. So by virtue, even if we don't want, the clientele will ensure that we give it. But then, as we said, that we are very, very honest with our approach to work, and therefore it is our endeavor to make sure that we are in sync with ensuring these systems are efficient and low carbon footprint. In futuristic way, we are thinking of tapping the solar operated systems so that we can make the system better.
Next. Ms. Chaitali, thank you for answering, sir. Ms.
Thanks.
Deepika, all the best for your IPO. Thank you. Mr. Neeraj, thank you, sir. Wishing you great success and growth with your IPO. Thank you. Mr. Kabir, very well explained, sir. Best wishes for your IPO. Mr. Path, thank you so much, sir. Thank you.
I want to state that I am glad that each one of you has given so much of valuable taken out time from your and spared time and interacted with us. And I look forward that you also be a part of our journey in the times to come. And thanks very much for patiently hearing me out.
Thank you. Thank you all for your thoughtful questions. I believe we have covered the majority of them. If you still have any further questions, please don't hesitate to reach out to us after the session. I would like to now extend my best wishes to Mr. Anuj and Mr. Singhal for a tremendous success with their IBO and all their future endeavors.
Thanks
This
very much. Thank
Thank
you.
you so much. Thank you.
This concludes our virtual IPO meet for Apex. And thank you all for joining us. Stay tuned for our next IPO meeting. Until then, stay connected. Wishing you all a wonderful evening. Thank you all.
Thanks very much.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.